Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome back to Reliable Hauling's Realistic Economy Extreme Edition that we are using here. I am going to try this time to incorporate the ATS expansion again. I am not putting in the cargo piece. I'm hoping that may have been what caused the crash. Because reading the cargo thing a little bit more in detail, it looks like that is if I have customizable trailer mods. And I do not, and so I'm wondering if to some degree, somehow that caused some issue. Or maybe I needed other trailer mods with it that I didn't have. But the map should just be the map and delivery points, and then just using regular loads that the game has. So I tried to use this in episode 1 and to start the series with it, but just had some problems. So did a couple real quick checks, like opening the map, stuff like that. Like it comes up, it doesn't toss any error immediately. A lot of times if there's a problem with the map, you'll get that quickly. So like I said, I'm hopeful here. If it does cause me some problems, I'll simply remove it as we go forward, and we'll just stick with things, because obviously the focus is more on just enjoying the extreme edition of the economy. So we are at a point that we can do the same thing in ETS 2, and I can basically just kind of begin a series there and still do ATS and ETS and just alternate periodically between them. You guys let me know if that would be not as interesting, like if you'd still like to maintain ETS 2 a little bit separately. The challenge I have is ETS 2 is kind of my real economy mod series, and now they're both economy based. It's just obviously that has the Pro Mods map, but I'll be able to do that there as well. Not sure if just having everything running that way, but this is kind of one of those things, just like with VIP Order Manager and Farming Simulator, that this is a significant enough mod that I think I would enjoy pretty much if I'm playing a truck simulator game to be utilizing it, because it finally has achieved what I've been looking for. The only thing that would make it better is if somehow you could again do LTL shipments, and I could get something where I got to go pick up 2 or 3 loads in one run from different locations and different carriers, and it just pieces them together. If someone cracks that nut, that would be awesome. Okay, so at this point we're at Fort Stockton. And I think some of these Texas locations, like I'm pretty sure Ballinger and Early, maybe even Stephenville, are things that were not, that are part of the new map. Let me look at Fort Stockton here. Okay, so 101, it's a frac tank again. This is going to become the reality, though, is as I'm hauling things and looking, because it's posing loads that are realistic for what is needed during the season and so forth. Like, obviously, if I'm doing it kind of day in and day out, we're going to have this situation. So yeah, I can't find any loads in Pecos. But Odessa, how far is this? 132. All right, so that would get me there. The other piece that I've been asking for folks to weigh in on, and I don't know how I feel about it myself. So for example, like now if I look up in Oklahoma City, I have a pretty nice job here that I can take that's 121 a mile. And again, right now, like my focus needs to be on making money, and that you do get kind of that realism breaking capability with quick jobs that you can just jump all over the map. Again, I can't say take jobs from Hutchinson, but it will let me take the large cities and locations. And so, there's nothing that stops me from just hopping around. Like, see here, I can do potatoes Oh, well, it's $1.34, but I'm only going to get $4. So I don't know that that's $40. I'm not sure that that's worth it. Is it just a local delivery in Helena? But the point being, is it worthwhile to do something like this? Because I do think the challenge becomes that I can't really pick different, like I can't see all of them. Yeah, because see, I think it's putting me in the cities like I'm near. And so I don't know if this is just something that because it's made it so difficult, just like they unlock all the trucks, that they let you do this to unlock things faster too. Because I don't remember in the base game, it's been so long since I've started another profile. I'm tempted on this one to do, Salem and Goose Bay, because it is more. It's going to also discover a couple towns, so that's going to potentially give me all kinds of other options. So I think I'm going to go with this, but there's nothing that says if your feedback is, nah, I think it's not the best to jump all over, but I think, again, the goal is to proceed, and this is going to be glacial progression either way. So I think any advantage we do have, because you can see, like right now, I mean, I can only do one city in every state. It's basically like, I'm trying to think, Denver, Albuquerque. I wonder if it's like the state capital. Because, yeah, Salem, well, it's Olympia, I think, is Washington state capital. But it has like one city. So see, even in California, like I can go to San Francisco. So it might be giving me the option of that, just so I can spread things around, because then I can progress. So let me just check real quick. 80, 89, yeah. This is definitely the best. So I'm going to go with this. Like, see, it won't let me, but no, it will if I pick the job. All right, so let me, again, part of what I'm trying to do here is, add a little bit of interest in that, a trucker, you'd normally go check your load. I'm going to make sure all the straps are tight. I'm going to look at things here. So I'm trying to add that added piece here into this series, which I've never done before. It almost looked like the wheels were floating, but they're not. So everything looks pretty solid there. Not seeing anything. Looks like we're good. So it's interesting that it moved to 4:50. Well, it's 4:55 p.m. But I forget it's 4:55 p.m. because I've moved to another time zone. Alright, so we're gonna pull out of here. Now this may be an ATS expansion delivery location. So that is the type of thing that it will do, is it'll give us a lot of other locations that are a little bit more challenging. So there's supposedly some crazy logging roads and stuff up in Montana. But, so I'm gonna go ahead. Alright, we're gonna set the wind there. Alright, let's see. Or not the wind, the light. So I'm trying something too, because I'm able to have automatic headlights. Whoop, I'm sorry, I turned that off last time. We're just using the in-vehicle GPS to try that out until someone tells me, no, I want to see the bigger one.
Turn right.
So we are doing that. Alright, we should be able to get out there. We definitely need a bit. There's some weird force feedback stuff happening as the gears are shifting in this truck. So I think, yep, it's a Peterbilt. I'm like, I think this is a Peterbilt. That's what I was going to say.
Turn left.
But yes, if we hit somewhere to sleep, I'll go ahead and do that, because I do think it's going to be better to rest if we can do so, and just drive a little bit more in the daylight. I mean, again, we get the benefit here that because we moved to the West Coast, we basically gain 2 hours. So instead of it being 6:52 p.m. or 6:55, it was... This is interesting. So we have to, like, drive through? Okay, this is definitely intriguing. I know I'm not delivering here, but yeah, this may be the shortest way to get there. This has got to be part of ATS expansion, but wow, this is pretty darn impressive. This is a free map add-on. I think it has some things you can purchase. But yeah, just, you know, and that's the thing, like, it offered is just a lot of delivery locations. So, like, in a yard like this, I'm sure there's all over that are parking spots that they've created. You know, just like where that guy is. Now, again, it's pretty funny seeing it, in essence, in a gravel pit. That's what I would call this delivery location, is that it's like a gravel mine. And, but seeing that they're delivering cars, like, to an auto dealer, or they're just parked there. So, but anyway, yeah, we'll take a look. We'll see what we can see. And if I can't rest, I can't rest. But I think that's the... Well, no, that's just Interstate 5. Because that's the other thing. Let me take a quick look here. So if I zoom in, yes, I can see some. See, but I'm thinking this is all just added stuff. I think without the expansion, this would not be here. It would just be Salem and that. So that is exactly why I'm looking to use this, because I think there's just a lot of little points. And when I go here, I guess I can rest there. So I may do that. And then we can drive during the day. So I know it's a new series, so even if you're not new to the series, like, everything's new. I'm going to probably repeat a lot of things early on just to make sure as people join in and start watching that they understand. So a lot of the settings I have are encouraged by GDC Logistics. One of the biggest ones is weather, so you may notice, like, there's a lot more clouds. Part of that than is my typical episodes, because part of that is they're suggesting for different times and different points of seasons, because the mod does do day of year, so every time they update the mod, which I think is at least monthly, to adjust demands and adjust other things. There's a winery there. All right, we're leaving Salem. But every time they do that, so we're in September 20th now, and we're in the fall, and so there's a rain probability they suggest you do, which I think was between 40 to 60%, because I'm not a giant fan of driving in the rain. Right now I'm keeping, you know, and it's not that I'm opposed to it, I'm just not sure. Again, it kind of becomes like driving at night. I think it's just going to be challenging to see if we're running through rain, but, you know, maybe I do go higher up or set it all the way to 60 and that it rains more than half of the time. Now, the thing they do explain is that is across the world that you're increasing the probability. So that doesn't mean that for every time you start, you're going to get it. So I'm trying to get in there before, but again, I don't want to hit things. Now, let's see. So it's that location there. Do I really have nothing there? Can I really get in there? Woo. You go by. I'm turning. I don't want to hit you. Okay, you want to back up? That's fine too. But yes, I am coming in here. Alright. Because, yeah, I don't want to incur any penalties. So it'll be interesting because I am using a mod called Icons, which in theory changes all of this too. Not that you could see where rest spots were, per se. Alright, so we can rest here. Alright, so we have rested. I have to drive a little bit in the dark here. So, trying a few things, because it did, the mod did, or I'm sorry, the game did crash on me. Can I get through here? I don't think so. So I'm going to try a few more things if it blows up on me again. It's interesting that, like, all of this is counted as acceptable. Yeah, it's also curious because it does not show the gas pump. So again, the icons thing, like, clearly just cleans everything up. Now, oh, I see the gas is over there. Like, these pumps I can't really use. Alright, well, I don't need fuel, so I'm not going to worry about that at this point. So, now what I'm not sure about is I basically changed the load order because a lot of people were talking about, like, this mod works fine with the maps, like, it shouldn't be crashing because of that, but it doesn't mean that it's not conflicting with something else. So I changed the load order of kind of the less important things. So I moved, like, realistic colors down. I moved the bar that's up on top down. And I may just take that one away completely because the Truckee bar gives me info. So I just saw the save that happened. So if it crashes again, at least we're here. That was the problem I had the first time, is it was crashing almost instantly. But I'm not quite sure why. So I'm trying to figure that out, but if it does blow up on me again, I may, like, drop almost everything out. Like, just literally take the mods out and see if I can make it work. What is over there? It's like a fire or something, but I don't know what. Or is it just interesting lights? That is intriguing. I could not tell you what that is. But in any event, I mean, just a little bit I've seen with those extra points, like, I would love to use this map. I think it's going to really add some intrigue. And especially given the amount of runs I'm going to have to do in this series, the more the merrier. Like, the more stuff I can do. I'm still leery of trying to put Coast to Coast back in and things like that, because I do think that wasn't a high quality map. And I've talked about it when I was doing the Coast to Coast series, so I'm not going to rehash that really, but it just doesn't have the depth, and we'll leave it at that, I guess, where it just really focused on giving you a road. But that was it. But then without Midwest expansion and other things, and even with it, like, there were still big areas of the country that really didn't have anything. And at this point, we have so much with SCS, because, like, when I did the Coast to Coast series, I think we were still, like, dealing with, like, maybe we had just gotten Montana or something, but we've got, like, a whole nother row of states completed now. We certainly hadn't had Texas. I will tell you, this truck is laboring. Like, I am just not speeding up very quickly in this thing. But yes, the crash happened when I hit the button to sleep, And basically at 8:30 at night it crashed. And it did not now. So something changed. Now again, I think I left traffic, like realistic traffic, up high, but I may have moved, I don't know, I moved 3 or 4 mods below the map, which maybe means they won't work at all. I don't know. So extended light timing, I think, was one of them. So I'm going to be curious when we get to a traffic light how they behave. And again, that's a mod that is challenging to not have. There's a nice substation there, but almost 5:30 in the morning, so we're getting there. But yeah, the benefit I think we have with the quick jobs is I should be able to sleep. And I would have slept later if I had other points on the way that I could have gone to, but there really were no rest spots until I finished. So I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. See, and I think these roads here that are going to like the couple Georgia Pacific locations is, I think, what they are. I think these are ATS expansion. Like, these are some of the logging road things and stuff. Yeah, and this road, though, because of kind of how it is set, I'm not sure that we're going to get much, too many traffic lights here, so... Alright, we can go 55. We're obviously climbing. We're struggling with our concrete tubes. But my intent, overall, is, unless I'm told otherwise, my intent is to make every bit of, like, this profile will be recorded. Every time I'm using the profile and I'm making any progress, I'm going to record it and I'm going to make it available to you guys. It may be way too much, and these videos may get very little very few views, because there'll just be so many of them. Because my intent at this point is, like, put out one a day. I'm not going to put out more than one a day, but I don't really know that I'm ever going to drive that much, but there may be a time, like on a weekend, where I'm like, I do 10 loads, and then, okay, I have a week and a half of videos. Like, if I suddenly start getting a huge pile of them, maybe I will spread them out and just will throw them out multiple times a day. I don't know. That would be a wonderful problem to have, I suppose. But the thing is, like, initially, like anything else, I'm probably going to use this a lot more. And maybe neglect some other sims because of what I'm doing here right now. Because I just want to make some progress, and I want to kind of enjoy this and get going. And now that we have the map, if I can make that work, like, that adds just a whole new thing for me. But yes, I'm not going to, like, not do the NASCAR flight series or whatever, but it may just become golf trucking and flight for a little while, and the flight may even get a little sparse. There may, because I was going to do some Tower Companion stuff, I'm ready to get back into Parcel Simulator. We're still getting rid of that backlog. I need to do the bonus jobs in Power Wash Simulator. Like, those are just some things that kind of the tip of my tongue is what I'm going to say, but not what I was going to say. The phrase is being used incorrectly. Top of mind, I suppose, might be the most realistic thing of what I'm thinking of, is like, those are the things that I could go ahead. I do love the real company thing. I mean, like, literally everything I'm looking at, like, other than just like a generic motel, but those exist. And that's the thing. There are, like, rest spots that ATS puts in. So there was Voltus and Motors. That's like an old one that didn't get replaced. But we got a Denny's there. Like, everywhere I look, like, these are, like, companies that are like, oh yeah, I know what these are. So I really enjoy that mod, and I'm hoping, like, taking that away would be pretty rough. but I may be willing to compromise some significant mods to get the map to work if I have to. I'm hoping I won't, but like I said, I may drop, yeah, because the challenge is, like, if I look now, like, there's nothing that's giving me that red warning that I'm over speeding, except the bar up on top. So I do like that, because it's just a visual reminder, because sometimes it doesn't put the speed limit down on the GPS and stuff. Supercuts, that is funny. Like literally the haircut people? Yeah, it is. It's not just any haircut, it's Supercuts. So again, it's those real billboards and stuff. Like, they're just, they so help to do things. But again, I think all these roads here are added on from ATS expansion. Because yeah, I'm not sure that double arrow is some kind of logistics. I think that's just a delivery location for ATS expansion. And so I think they just took all these spaces in the map and just jammed stuff in. But what they had said is they added some, I think they added some hotels as rest stops and stuff. Like some famous, you know, older hotels that would be around in various areas. Got like 111 miles to go. I am surprised. Well, you know what? Let me take that back. Because the difference is, the reason I'm surprised is I'm so used, I mean, I spent 800 hours in ATS without any kind of a time difference thing. But now this is adjusting that, and so yeah, it's still dark at 6:30 a.m. where normally I was like, oh yeah, we're starting at 3:45. By 5 the sun is up in ATS, because that's just how it has always worked. But we're in September, it's like late September time frame, and yeah, you know, we've lost an hour or two of daylight from the summertime in June or whatever. You know, if not more than that, maybe 3 or 4 hours of daylight. But I think this is also going to be part of what really will make this series different. I love that glow around those lights. That is cool. Because I'm trying to remember, I don't know if ATS expansion did, because I think something said something like, no, that would probably be GDC, but I don't know that they have that incorporated. I've looked at some mods that had talked about, and maybe it is ATS expansion, maybe that was something they did, is that, like, for, how would they know about time of year, because the map's not doing it? I don't know. I read somewhere that, hey, it's like fall, and because there's a little bit more moisture in the air, like, you'll get that glow around the lights a little bit more to kind of mimic that, but maybe that's just the good graphics of Truck Simulator, the way it's set anyway. And this again is like just oh, you know what it was? It was a paid mod. I think it was PNG photorealistic or something. But you had to pay, and I'm like, I don't know, I've come across it, someone talked about it, but they're just so good in the base game. I mean, again, I struggle. If you've watched any of my trucking videos, every once in a while, it's the people who are, oh, you need to come out with a new game because you need to update the graphics engine and whatever. Why? This is so cool as it sits, and it's working, and it's great, and we have all these mods, and like again, I guarantee you, this is a perfect example of, again, my complaint with Farming Simulator and why I'm no longer doing it quite actively, because, you know, I've just refused to give them money for Farming Simulator 25 because they're just giving us the same game over and over again. But a mod with the complexity that GDC Logistics has for this real economy thing, this is exactly what I'm talking about that doesn't happen in a game like Farming Simulator. because it's not worth the effort to spend a year or two building some really interesting economic engine to then have it trashed and have to start over again because they came out with a new game in 3 years. So this exact thing that we're experiencing here is possible because ATS isn't updated. And so I will take this any day of the week 1,000 times over updating something for a little bit better graphics for something. I mean, again, I'll challenge anybody. Tell me what's wrong with the trees, what's wrong with the light coming through, you know, coming down in the beams and whatever, and all of that. Like, anyway, I could go on. I could fill the Extreme Edition series with like 200 episodes of complaining about the complainers, and just how ridiculous it is. Yeah, this is awesome. I'm really enjoying myself. I hope you guys are too. If you are, please remember to like and subscribe. Love to grow the channel, and the only way that happens is if people are doing that. You know, recommend it to your friends. Have watch parties. You know, there'll be. I am going to keep these going. So I will be putting them out, and certainly if we get more and more interest, it's woo. He looked like he was over the center line, but he's not. So, all right. But we finally, 8 a.m., 7:30 a.m. We finally got some daylight. But that's the thing, is we start heading into winter and all that. We're gonna have some short days, so we may be driving in the dark more than we like, but that's okay. Wow, glorious, just beautiful country out here, that's for sure. So yes, I will thank SES for providing a platform that lets us do something like this, that we can just, really finally get to the point between them and GDC. Like, I think this combination may make this game what I think everyone who's like a hardcore simmer has always wanted it to be. Like, I can run one profile. I'm not suddenly going to have the ability to buy all kinds of trucks and garages. Like, it's just me hiring out, driving jobs, and I'm probably going to be doing that for a year. I don't know. I mean, it might not be that long, but it may. I would not be surprised. And it's because, hey, I'm operating it just as if I was a real trucker, and this was my job. I don't turn around and buy a truck, and if I'm starting out with nothing, with $1,500 to my name, I don't turn around and buy a truck in 2 weeks. But you can do that in base ATS, and even with some of the other things, I give these guys a lot of credit for thinking through, like, how do I crack that nut of making it be as real as I can in what it takes to build your career. And I think, sure, the real economy options before were a start because you were short of funds, but now you're short of funds and time. So, like, again, by creating that, just making XP go longer. So I did see, I watched another video from someone else who, again, was doing the hardcore thing. And what I didn't realize, so I'm going to be curious how that works. And maybe, I talked about it, I think, last episode, that I think I would have already, like, leveled up at base game, because I think it's only like 300 or 400 XP. But that might not be the case, because they were showing at one point that they showed level 3, and they're like, well, but I'm not at level 3, that's just the back of the game telling me I'm at level 3, because in the base game I would be at level 3, but I'm still at level 1. And again, they were at level 1. Like, I'm not at level 1, I'm at level 0. So, alright, so we're in town now. So anyway, this is what we'll be doing. You know, we'll be talking, we'll be driving, who knows what we'll talk about. I was half thinking to myself, joking, I'm like, I could be like, you know, a lot of truckers, I could just talk to you about politics all the time when I drive, but I don't think anyone's going to want to watch that, so we're not going to do that unless suddenly I have 20 people asking me to do it. But we'll just talk about random stuff, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, I've been through town here and all that, but the thing is, like, yeah, has stuff been added? Like, is this motel? Whoa, while I'm looking at the motel, I'm gonna... No, that might be base game motel. But I'm like, is this motel something? Trucking? Drowsy. Oh, rest at the next truck stop. Oh, and that's like AAA, I think, is the logo. That's pretty awesome. FFA. Oh, FIFA.com. That's right. Somebody, and this might have been the expansion that you can, they've got like stuff in here because we're doing the FIFA World Cup in 2026, and so I think in California and stuff they've got some deliveries to the job site as they're building the stadium and stuff, so that's pretty cool. I do not know if this building had to have been there. I can't imagine they're just adding random buildings into town, but that Tioga thing is pretty darn impressive. So that is the benefit of just jumping around on the quick jobs. Like, we're going to get all over the place if I do that, at least somewhat. Versus just kind of acting like once I have a truck, you know, then I can't do that. So maybe we do take advantage of that in quick jobs, even though it might last for hundreds of episodes before we can afford a truck. We will at the end take a look at the used truck market and just see, because now it is a day or two later in real life, and so I'm going to see if somehow, you know, and it's a day later in the game, you know, we've slept, like our new truck's available, because we had like a Western Star for 30,000, I think.
Right. And then turn right.
Alright, so we're going down there. So the good news is it hasn't crashed. Again, you wouldn't know because I would have spliced things together to some degree. I mean, the first time it was crashing so often and so early, I just gave up. So you never saw that it was crashing. I think I mentioned it, but... Alright. Alright, I guess I keep going. And again, with icons, we're going to see just some white lines on the ground in most cases.
Turn left.
Alright, so we're taking it to Lennar.
Turn left.
So the other thing that I have talked about is that I'm also trying to do the hardcore trucky thing. But what I forgot is, because I'm not connecting here... Alright, where is my delivery point? Looks like... You know what? I am going to... I know I'm sticking out into the road, but I'll pull out a little bit. I'm gonna get out of my truck and take a look. So I'm not seeing anything here. Probably in the building. So let me go back this way. Okay, there we go. So we gotta put it in there. So that's easy. Well, easy enough to know where it is. I don't know how easy it's gonna be to actually do it. Yeah, I got out of the truck without the parking brake on and it started to roll away. That would have been bad. So I quickly jumped back in and fixed that. But no, we'll be able to do it. It's at least the non-blind side here. See, but the thing that will be unknown now, like if I can do this and if I can keep this up, I have no idea what are... I mean, some of the delivery points that are base game are pretty pretty obvious. But, so there's like, you know, a couple yards that have like the U-turn things in them that were like, I was constantly showing up to those sometimes. And things, you know, in the train yards and whatever, but again, like this seems... They did start to add stuff like this in mods, but this is Oregon, which was pretty early on. So I am not sure that this is not ATS expansion. Alright, so I should be okay here. I might have even, well, I don't know that I could have driven around. I'm like, I might have been able to just go in there and pull through, but this is cool. Definitely a good, solid job here. Alright. So, just getting some now they don't have any other, well, they have cinder blocks. I was gonna say, they don't have any other concrete in here, but I'm like, it doesn't quite fit. I thought it was like bags of, you know, like gypsum or something, but they do have stacks of cinder blocks there, I think. So let's see. Alright, so we're good. So let's detach. Alright. Well, that hurts. Okay, so doesn't play the music or something, so alright, so maybe sleeping isn't an option. So I do have to pay a little bit more attention, but yeah, basically I negated even more than my parking bonus. I took some of my base reward away, but yeah, we're at 858. Now the other thing I noticed here, this Road Hustler, I think these are names that GDC has created too. But yeah, finishing up the discussion of the hardcore trucky thing now that we're done, you're not able to do automatic connection. And so because I'm starting the load already attached to my trailer, it won't give me credit for hardcore. I also, the jobs were too short, but like this one may have been long enough. Yeah, I can't actually see right now, so I don't know that it's that important, but the short answer is, while I'm doing quick jobs, I'm not going to have any of these loads qualify for the hardcore trucky. But the benefit is when I looked at other ones that I had like a whole checklist of things that I had failed on, like again, detour levels and incident levels and things like that, because you have to set them higher for the hardcore piece, because we also have like air brakes, and that's just a recommendation also for GDC. But I normally have not driven with simulating air brakes or real fuel consumption and things like that. And so the air brakes, that's where again I could end up needing to go on a runway a runaway truck ramp because my brakes suddenly fail. That there needs to be some recovery time. So we'll have to be careful when we're going through the mountains, because I've never really had to deal with that type of challenge. But in any event, we are done here with this. So as I said, any feedback you have on this, especially again the new things that I brought up today, where do I just convert and kind of start an ETS 2 one as well, and basically everything on the channel is Extreme Edition realistic trucking, and we're trying to do that. But they're doing some things in Europe that are interesting because they're testing the load system there, because there's just so many delivery points so close together. So they're testing that before they put it into ATS. So that's why I'm going to be doing it either way. And so the thing is, like, I'll be doing it where you won't see it, but I'll be taking time, and then there will be less videos, or I could share it with you. And I could basically put the other one on hiatus and return to it at some point if we wanted to, so I'm not sure. I'm not going to jump into that one, but what may happen is I may not have ETS videos. I may just, in that 4-day cycle that was always there, I'll just put one of these in there, and then more and more people will see it. It's just my ETS 2 videos have been getting more views because I think there's more people in Europe that watch than in the US. I'm a little hesitant to not want to have ETS2 content, and I will absolutely do it because I love the European stuff. But in any event, I will see you next time.